Hey there folks, my name is Alex. My partner Megan and I wanted to fill our lives with experience, so we moved into our van Betty and hit the road. When we realized how much more we can do while living out of a van, we decided to go all in for the long run. After 6 months of living in the van and traveling around, we've decided we want to completely rethink, redesign, upgrade, and improve our van. We're doing a full rebuild. This is the Alex Build Stuff Show. It's the show where I build stuff and I show you.
Hey guys, my name's Alex. Welcome to the channel. If you don't already know, that van behind me, that's Betty. My girlfriend Megan and I have been living out of Betty for, by the time you're watching this video, probably about 7 months. When we first started living in the van, we kind of figured that we would do 6 months and then see where it went. You know, maybe we would like it, maybe we wouldn't. Well, we decided pretty darn quick that we love living in Betty and we really want to do a lot more of it. As many builds go, we discovered pretty quick that there's a lot of things that we did not like about the build. Now that it is the summer after we finished the first build, we're gonna restart the entire thing. That means tearing out the entire interior of Betty, starting from ground zero. I thought that it might be a good idea to take you guys through, a small tour of the van and show you what works, what doesn't, what we're gonna change, and also just kind of give you a look at what the van looks like right now. We do have another tour video on this channel, but here's another one. So let's get after it. Let's start with the exterior. If you're a car guy, truck guy, you might look at Betty and say, Betty looks pretty cool for just a delivery van, which I totally agree. But I kind of think she could look cooler. Starting on the front, this bumper, I'm probably gonna rebuild it. One thing that I noticed while off-roading Betty is that she's got a pretty big underbite, which I usually really don't like on vehicles. So I think that what I can do is make a bumper that fits far closer to the front end and will actually hold a winch inside of the grille. So that means taking this off, cutting the frame horns, and then building something that just fits way closer to the van. These are 265/75/16s, which works out roughly to a 32-inch tire. They've been great, we really love them, but we want to go bigger. I just put a WeldTec 3-inch spindle lift in this van, which gives us way more clearance. That means we can fit a 33-inch tire. One thing that I really want is better flotation on the sand since we spend so much time down in Baja. I'm gonna go a little bit taller, a little bit wider, so when we're aired down, this van just floats. I built this roof rack. It works great, but it's gotta go. We noticed pretty quickly that due to me being a pretty tall guy, it's really cramped inside the van. That means we're doing a high top. The roof rack on top, it won't fit anymore. So what I'm gonna be doing this summer is changing that whole roof rack to aluminum and making it really low profile. Those right there, those are REE Solar 110 watt panels. We're adding an additional panel to our array, and then we're also gonna make it tilting, but I'm gonna do a far better job of it. It's gonna be inset into the roof rack, and it's gonna be able to tilt like this, but also like this, so that we can park north to south with our door facing any direction, east to west that we want, and that way we can capture as much solar as possible when we're parked for multiple days. One of the things that we don't love about this van is that this entire wall has no windows. So, we just ordered a big window about this long right here. It's gonna be able to tilt open so that we can get some better airflow through the van and also just kind of break up the monotonous side. In addition to all of that, Betty is no longer gonna be your boring white delivery van. We're repainting her, and she's gonna look damn fine when she's done. As mentioned, I put a 3-inch WeldTec lift on this van. We didn't go with the 3-inch progressive leaf that we wanted to because we're doing so many modifications to the van that the weight is going to change significantly, and they actually build your leaf packs specifically to the weight of your rear axle. That means that when we're done the van, we're going to drive back down to San Diego from Canada and get one of those custom-made 3-inch progressive leaves made from WeldTec Designs, which we're pretty excited about because I don't really like lift blocks that much. I built this too. There's nothing really wrong with it. It does exactly what I wanted it to, but I don't love having these on the outside of the vehicle. This right here, this is additional water, and obviously this is gasoline. We're gonna put this inside because, well, we don't really like frozen water, and I just don't like too much hanging off the van. And then this, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna build a specific swing out kind of thingy that goes down between the frame rails, and that will hold my jerry can. When this is not here, we're gonna have a nice big storage box here to get everything that's in that bin down into here. In addition, this box that's going here will also hold a 20-pound propane cylinder. On this side, we'll still have the spare tire here, but our max tracks, or whatever we choose as traction boards, will likely go up right here, just on the very back of the new high top that we're gonna put on there, and just an integrated piece of the roof rack, I think. As you can see, we've got Starlink. Our Starlink mount is currently screwed into the top of our roof rack here. We don't love having to set it up and take it down every time we want to park. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to convert it to a hard mount on the roof, and also make it so that we can just turn it on and have it on while we're driving, so that we have high-speed internet while we drive around. This setup is going to go. All right, now that we've kind of sorted out the exterior, let's check out the interior. So the design that we went with was putting our kitchen right here in the doorway so that it wasn't on the other side, and we could use the other side for storage, pantry, fireplace, so on and so forth. This is not a bad design. We don't mind it at all, but there are a few things that have to change. Starting with our induction cooktop. We thought that the induction cooktop was going to be great because we could harvest all the solar from the sun, our DC-DC charger would charge the batteries, and we had 200 amp hours of lithium battery. This is all true, it's all great, but unfortunately, our electrical setup as it is right now does not actually keep up with the amount of draw that the induction cooktop takes off of the battery. So we're gonna go back to propane. That means that this space right here is no longer taken up by an induction top. The new propane stovetop is going to go up here. In addition to that, as I mentioned before, our third water can is going to come in and be inside here. So right now we have 2 water cans in here. This is a nice little outdoor tabletop that we have used a handful of times, but mostly it just stays closed. What we're doing differently with the new build is we're taking that third water can that I mentioned earlier, and we're putting it in line on the inside. We'll load the water cans from the inside of the van versus the outside, because actually getting 20 liters of water up here is quite a difficult task. Right now we're using a 45-liter AlphaCool refrigerator. We found more often than not that this is packed full, which makes it a whole heck of a lot less efficient, and our compressor is running all the time. So we will be upgrading to a larger 12-volt fridge at some point. We haven't figured out exactly what refrigerator it'll be yet, but we're kind of cycling through our options. Down here we have our pots and pans storage. Right beside it, usually we put our shoes and toilet paper and baby wipes and other random crap there. This area always turns into kind of a mess, which I don't love. The way we're going to change it is I'm going to make this a little bit lower, and then I'm going to make a box that comes out here, and then a little kind of drawer that pulls out, and it will contain kind of like all little things that we use often. So when building the interior of Betty, I kind of made the plan for it really quick, and then just went and built it because I only had 3 weeks to build the interior of this van.
I didn't foresee a bunch of things. One of which is this problem. So this drawer contains kind of a mix for pantry and cutlery, and you have to either be right here or right there to open this drawer. And if you want to get inside to all of the pantry items, you have to lift up, or you have to pull out the drawer completely and then lift up our cutlery kind of level that lifts out like this. Unfortunately, that's really irritating. So yeah, that'll be something that we are changing. This will become 2 drawers, one very narrow cutlery drawer and then a pantry drawer underneath it. We have this really wonderful little tiny wood stove, which I'm sure you've seen in previous videos. This stove is made by my friend's company, tinystove.com. It's based in Switzerland, and this is a prototype model that we got. It's a really great stove, produces tons of heat, but it's really tiny, and we made a really big space for it because we built this before we had the stove. So I kind of just had to make something that would fit any size of stove comfortably and safely, but we really don't need that much space. So this stove is actually going to go right up in here. We're going to make a tile backing or tile surround for it, and then that way the stovepipe is a lot smaller. It fits into a more compact area and leaves a lot more space for other things. Right now, as you can see, the interior of Betty is pretty short. I'm 6'2", and it's starting to really wear on my back. When we have a high top in here, we're going to get 16 additional inches of headspace, which would be fantastic. With that though, means that we're going to have to utilize the space that we have even better. So this bed that we're sitting on right now is actually going to go up probably about a foot. This very cluttered space right here, which currently contains a bunch of my camera gear and a bunch of random knickknacks, is going to become far more organized. I'm actually going to make a dedicated charging zone for all of my camera gear, laptops, etc. Then the countertop right here will extend to the back, where this tiny little mixing bowl is right now will be a full-size or properly sized sink, so that we can actually store dishes in there instead of just a sponge, which is what stays in there right now. Up top here, now that we're going to have 16 inches more space, we're going to put cupboards on either side and over the back there. Currently, all of our clothing is in this drawer here, and all of that is going to go up here. And that should be really sufficient for the amount of clothing that we choose to bring with us. You may have been looking at this cupboard right here and wondering what's in there. Well, literally everything is in there, which includes a lot of our jackets, our pantry, and our electrical system. Not really my thing. This was actually supposed to be just a cupboard with an electrical system in it, but because I didn't think about pantry space enough, we wound up having to put a lot of our pantry items in here, which makes it really cluttered and kind of not really fun to pull stuff out of. With our next build, our rare earth elements electrical system is going to be getting a little bit smaller. Because we don't have the induction top, we no longer need this massive 3000 watt inverter charger. So we'll actually be downsizing to a 1500 watt inverter charger. And instead of that, instead of having this bulky MPPT charger, we'll actually be having a DC-DC charger slash MPPT charger. Our entire electrical system that is currently in here will now fit down into here, because the 1500 watt inverter charger is going to be quite a bit smaller. The DC-DC slash MPPT will be just one unit containing, both those charging applications, and then our 200 amp hour lithium battery should all fit down in here, which will be considerably better and considerably less of a kind of a drain on our space, so to speak. And lastly, something that's kind of exciting is we have partnered with a company called WeldTec. WeldTec is a affordable option for a composting toilet. And our tiny little WeldTec toilet is going to go down in here. That's going to be a huge step up for us, because not having a toilet in here has made it really difficult to camp on city streets. Obviously, we always have to have somewhere that we can go to the bathroom when we're camping on city streets, and now we will. I don't think it's going to be a toilet that we use all the time, but it will definitely be something that we use often enough.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate you being here. I hope our video wasn't too long-winded for you. Figured, you know, we'd just give you an update on what we're doing and what we're about to do. This van is going to get a hell of a lot more badass, which we're really excited about, and I hope you guys really enjoy following along on that journey, because it's going to be a lot of work. All right, I think that's all I got to say for now. Until next time, remember to keep on roaming. Later, folks.